What's up, Niner fam? My name is JT Magnum, and welcome back to Niner News. I took a little bit of a vacation. I was frustrated with the 49ers, frustrated with this organization, and I decided to gather my thoughts, let the team do its thing, let them, get rid of people and see what they were going to do and see how things were going to turn out. And then I would make a nice big video and talk to you guys about it and let my feelings out. But I didn't get to celebrate because Baalke was fired, but thank God, believe me, I partied. I partied here with champagne. I was popping bottles. I had all kind of movie stars and rap stars here. I had a party. It was banging. It was amazing here. Not really, but it was just me, my dog, and my wife, and we partied because I was so happy that Baalke was fired. I was so pumped. And then the news came that Chip Kelly was fired as well, as we already knew that as well. But it's just refreshing that the 49ers are going to start over. I know we hate Jed York and we wish he can go, and we'll get to that in a second, but I'm just happy right now that Baalke is gone. He's single-handedly, I've been talking about him all year long. I've been talking about him for almost 2 years now. It's just he single-handedly has killed this team, and finally his claws are off of this team, and his grip is off of this team. And I don't know what happened that got him fired. I mean, I know what happened that got him fired, but I don't know what was said or what happened, because I know that he was Jed York's boy, but at the same time, I am just so glad that he is gone. I know that you guys are too. Believe me, I read the comment section. I see all the comments that how much you hate and despise this man too. But I can't deal with him. I can't deal with Trent Baalke. He was just horrible. And wish him luck, good luck in whatever he does. Hopefully he goes and screws up some other team so that we can leap bound that team and make it to the Super Bowl again. But Chip Kelly was fired too, and I felt bad for Chip Kelly. Maybe for 5 seconds, because I felt like he was poorly treated. I only was given a year to change the team, but his offense just wasn't working. It doesn't work with what we're doing. Our defense wasn't, holding up. I mean, we had all kinds of injuries and things like that. You can blame it on that, but at the same time, the team just wasn't good. He wasn't utilizing the players any better than Harbaugh did, any better than Tom Sula did. It was horrible. But I did feel bad because like I said, he was only given a year, and you think with maybe some extra players, maybe he could do something with them. But at the same time, it's good to get a fresh start, and the Niners needed to start over, and Chip Kelly shouldn't have been in the mix in the first place. So best of luck to him too. Hope he does something. Hope he actually goes somewhere and does well as an offensive coordinator or somewhere and does well, because his offense is pretty good. It just doesn't suit our team, I believe, and it's not us. It's not the 49ers way. So a key stat though that really made me mad about Chip Kelly this year, if you don't know, I don't know if many people know this, but the 49ers actually led and had the lead in 10 of the games they played out of the 16 games they played this year. There was a few 14-0 leads. There was a 17-0 lead. There was a few 3-point leads here and there, or 7-point leads. But all in all, the 49ers led at one point in the game 10 times this year, and they still managed to lose 14 games. That's another thing that'll get you fired, and that's probably why Chip Kelly's gone. I mean, the Niners did have leads, and they ended up blowing them and getting blown out, or they just blew them and then lost by a little bit. It was just annoying. And then another thing was no air attack. There was no passing attack. I know the 49ers don't have that great of wide receivers, but they were never utilized. It just seems like the players that we wanted to see never got to take off, never got to take flight, or they got hurt. Bruce Ellington was hurt again. DeAndre Smelter was hurt pretty much all year long. Eric Rodgers never even saw the field. It was just one after another. A 49er was dropping, and it was torture to watch. And the same thing was on defense. The defense was absolutely horrible. Right when Navarro Bowman went down, that was it. That was the main piece, and then he was gone, and everything just fell apart from there as well. And the Niners defense just collapsed. And then not only did they collapse, players started collapsing. There were so many players that were injured. I think it was 18 or 19 people on injured reserve. That's a testament to Baalke. That's another testament to Baalke. You drafted those players. Some of them were already hurt, and they ended up on IR because they just kept getting hurt, and that's what they are, injury-prone players. And We got to get rid of players like that. Just get some new players in here. Get some free agents. Get some people in here that can play. Don't overspend. Don't go crazy. But, spend pretty well. Get some pieces to piece together inside in areas that we need. And shore up spots and see what our new coach, Kyle Shanahan, can do. We'll talk about him in a second, though. I do want to talk about that Jed York press conference. Wasn't that awkward to watch? Was that like the most awkward thing? Like, he just does not like talking to the media, and he seems like a douchebag. I mean, he sits there and says, I'm the owner. I can't be fired. You're not technically the owner, though. He is the owner's son. And yes, he can be let go. If the owners, Denise DeBartolo York and her husband John, actually wanted him fired, like they said, son, you're done, or you're done, son, or whatever you want to say it, they would let him go. They can let him go. He's not the owner. He's just the child of the owner. And he acts like a child, and that's just what I see from him. I don't know what it is, but he acts like a little baby to me. Like, you can't fire me. I'm the owner. You don't fire owners, and I'm in charge. But you know what? You suck at it, and you suck, period, at running this team, and you're proving that you suck at it. And we want somebody that can run the team, and you stay out of it. You just sign the paychecks. How about that? Since you're Mr. Owner Boy. Sign the paychecks and let somebody else run the team that knows about football, Jed. Just, why don't you do that? I don't know. You obviously never watched this, Jed, but at the same time, it just makes me mad that you sit there and you say all this stuff to people and the press, and you sound like a little whiny baby. But anyways, moving on, Kyle Shanahan looks to be our coach, and I'm pretty excited about that. There was a couple of guys that I was excited about. One was the McVay guy. He ended up getting hired, and I also like Josh McDaniels, but I had this feeling that Josh McDaniels was not going to take that job. I don't know what it was, but I had this feeling. And then when I saw the Atlanta Falcons dismantle the Seattle Seahawks, and I know they were without Earl Thomas, I know they had some injuries in the secondary a little bit, and people were banged up, and they're not the true Seattle defense. I get it. But the way that Atlanta Falcons team moved the ball in Seattle and the way that they just decimated them, that made me want Shanahan right there. I was done. That is the premier team that the 49ers have to beat in the division. That is the team that is the hurdle we have to get over, is that Seattle Seahawks team. And if we need an offensive mind like Shanahan to come to this team, develop the wide receivers we do have, get some extra wide receivers in the draft or via free agency or something like that, and make this team better, then that's what we have to do. His father, Mike Shanahan, was the last coach to coach this team to a Super Bowl, basically. He was the offensive coordinator, but his son is obviously as innovative as his dad, and his offense is working. You see Atlanta's offense. They're sick. They're nasty. And yes, they have weapons. I get it. They have Matt Ryan. They have Julio Jones. They have Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. But you don't at the same time, they had some of those weapons before, and what were they doing? Nothing, until Kyle Shanahan came with his offense, and it was a little bit different. They became a lot more explosive. You got to know how to utilize your weapons, and the 49ers do have some people that they can use, but they don't use them right. And that's what I think the problem is. They don't utilize Torrey Smith's speed. They don't utilize DeAndre Smelter for the big receiver that he is. They don't utilize Jeremy Curley the way they could use him. They don't utilize Carlos Hyde the way they could use him. They don't even utilize all the running backs that we have, and we just let them go, or we do whatever. They're just stupid, and that's why Baalke's gone. But you bring in Kyle Shanahan, and now it's time to finally maybe take a step towards getting over that Seattle Seahawks hurdle and their horrible fans and bandwagon fans that they have. I'm not going to say that. I feel bad. I know they're going to probably come to this video and try to troll, but whatever. It is what it is. A lot of people that were Seattle fans were never Seattle fans before, and all of a sudden now they have this huge fan base they never had before when they were busy losing like half the time. But that's the hurdle we need to overcome now, is that Seattle Seahawks team, And I think Kyle Shanahan is the man that can get us over that hurdle. Now we just need to see who our defensive coordinator will be and how the GM would be after this and see how that will work out. I know there's like 3 names in the mix, a couple Green Bay guys, maybe another guy from I don't remember where, but at the same time, I don't care. As long as Kyle Shanahan gets along with them and they draft great, it doesn't matter to me. Just get here, sign with the team, and let's get this thing rolling. Now, as potential free agents, I won't talk about a bunch of them. I'm not going to talk about free agents right now because that's going to be another whole nother show for me to do. But I will talk about quarterbacks and guys that I would love to. A dream scenario would be to get a veteran quarterback in here. Let's say a Phillip Rivers, a Tony Romo, or Kirk Cousins. I know Kirk Cousins won't be able to. Washington is going to tag that dude. There's no way they're going to let him go. Phillip Rivers. There's all these rumors or whatever, but I don't think Phillip Rivers is going to come here. He's going to stay in LA. I think maybe he was venting on Twitter or whatever, and they're saying this stuff, but I don't see Phillip Rivers going anywhere. But Romo is interesting because if you pair him up with a guy like Kyle Shanahan and maybe get a couple weapons around them and you have Carlos Hyde, this team may actually do some damage on offense. And if you keep Romo at least standing up or make him duck down, if there is something coming and not, run around too much in the pocket and get killed, because that's what, you don't want to get him hurt. But if you draft a quarterback, let's say, I don't know, the second round of Deshaun Watson or somebody else in the second round, maybe, just maybe, you can develop him under Romo for a couple years and let Romo take the offense and do his thing. And then the new guy come when Romo retires or when Romo's done. I don't know. I see the potential there for something like that. Will it happen? Probably not. Dallas probably is not going to release him. They're probably going to trade Romo. And if they do end up releasing him, I don't know how much Romo will demand, but we definitely have the money to do it. But there's going to be a lot of teams trying to get Romo. And there's a lot better options out there for Tony Romo than the 49ers, at least in other people's eyes, because a lot of people see us as that 2-14 team. But like I said, we were ahead in 10 games. So there's potential there to actually stay ahead in those games and win those games. It's just that we didn't have no offense and our defense was horrible. So if you shore up some spots, if you add some good pieces in good area, I mean, the Cowboys went from 4-12 to 13-3 last year. Granted, they do have an offensive line, a crazy offensive line. They struck it rich in the 4th round with Dak Prescott, and of course they struck it rich with Ezekiel Elliott. But what's to say the 49ers already have their running back? So if you strike it rich with a decent quarterback, or you strike it rich with a decent wide receiver or somebody that can be a game changer, maybe the 49ers could actually do some damage. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I got to remain confident. I'm a fan. I got to remain optimistic despite everything else that's going on and how the team played last year, because believe me, it was abysmal. It was abysmal enough that, I mean, I watched every game. Every game was almost heartbreak for me to watch. When they did win, I mean, when they did finally had that second win, I was kind of mad that they beat the Rams again, because I just wanted that number 1 pick. But, because I was hoping to get Myles Garrett. But at the same time, it's like, you're happy that they won, but you're like, why did you win? Like, why did you win now? Like, you could have blew it. You could have won it. And then, of course, at the end, Cleveland blows a game against Pittsburgh, and the 49ers, blew their game against, well, not blew it, but they came back against Seattle. But, it's just like, why did Cleveland do that? Like, they blew the game, and then we had the chance to take over, but we didn't get it. So it is what it is. And we'll look on to the draft, and I'll also, of course, do my draft rundowns of every player that I think the 49ers need. Believe me, there might be a lot of draft needs videos in this one. One thing we don't need is cornerbacks, so I probably will not do that this year, because I don't think we need cornerbacks. We're done. I mean, we just drafted all these cornerbacks. It should be cornerback just fine now. If they draft another cornerback next year, it's like, why? Trent Baalke, for some reason, just loved cornerbacks. Drafted like 3 a year, it seemed like. But hopefully you don't do that anymore with the new GM and with Kyle Shanahan there. I believe maybe now they'll move towards some offensive players, and maybe we'll get some wide receivers and some offensive linemen now and some key pieces, instead of getting all defense all the time and then having them be, gone for the year on IR because they have knee problems or something else that Trent Baalke liked to draft. So Got that all off my chest. All right, guys, leave comments in the comment section. Tell me what you thought about Baalke being gone. Tell me what you think about Chip Kelly being gone. Tell me what you think about Jed York and his comments about how he's the owner and how he can't be fired. Tell me what you thought about Kyle Shanahan as our new coach. Now, he hasn't taken the position yet, but it's rumored that he will. But most likely, it looks like he is going to be, or else the 49ers wouldn't be like letting all these other people know that we're not in the, we're not looking for a coach anymore. So let me know what you think about potential free agents, especially quarterbacks, and let me know what you think about the upcoming draft and who you think what areas do you think the 49ers most need to draft in. All right. So for JT Magnum and Niner News, I am out. Peace, y'all.